सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So discussion this morning, Swaminathanji wanted us to discuss a part of Shankaranandi Tika. On the Bhagavad Gita, here the Bhashya of Adi Shankaracharya, which is most famous. And we have some other also very elaborate Tikas. One is by Madhusudan Saraswati. Other is by Swami Shankarananda Saraswati. And Shankaranandi is quite elaborate in many places. So the verse that is selected is the 12th verse from the second chapter of the Gita. It's the beginning of the teaching of Lord Krishna. First verse, Ashochan Anvashochastvam Prajnavadamsya Bhasase Gatasun Agatasumscha Nanushochandi Panditaha, the 11th verse. That's like a preface. And the teaching imparted in that verse is then elaborated. The elaboration begins with the next verse, the 12th verse, which is the verse that is chosen for discussion this morning. Although that verse itself does not seem to appear in this. It is. Right, no, it is here. So let us read that verse on the page 44 of this handout. Natvevaham jatu nasam natvanne me janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayam atah param. So if you break the sandhis in this verse, natu eva aham jatu na asam natu natvam na ime janadhipaha nacha eva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayam atah param. Natu eva aham jatu na asam, one vakya. Lord Krishna says, it never was that I was not. Na asam, I was not. Jatam, ever. Natu, there never was a time when I was not. It's an interesting way of saying. There always was. That is said by saying, there never was a time when I was not. Lord Krishna says. Meaning that I always was. That means I always will be. Meaning that I am eternal. I am unborn and therefore free from birth and death. I am eternal. That's what Lord Krishna says. Natvam. And Arjuna may say, Lord Krishna, I understand you are eternal, free from birth and death. But what about me? He says, Natvam. Hey Arjuna, there never was a time when you were not. Meaning that you also were always there, like me, you are also eternal. So Arjuna may think, well, I am something. He says, Naime janadhipaha. Here Arjuna, all these kings also, the warriors who are standing around us, there never was a time when they were not, meaning they also always were. That means that we always were. What does it mean? We were never born? All right, Arjuna might think that by the time the battle is over, nobody is going to be around. He says, Nachayevana bhavishyamaha. It will not be that we will not be. It is not that we were never were not. It will not be that we will not be. We will always be. We always were, and of course we are, and we always will be. So this is on the face of the observation that everybody is born, everybody is growing, and everybody is going to die. This is what our observation is. On the face of that observation, Lord Krishna says that none of us was born and none of us is going to die. Meaning that Atma is Nitya, it is eternal, birthless, changeless, deathless. And that is important to say, that Atma is not born, Atma does not die. So Arjuna, you are grieving for what? Are you grieving for the death of Atma? But that Atma, self, never dies. So this is how Lord Krishna begins his teaching. By the Paramathika Upadesha, by the Upadesha of the absolute reality that Atma is, or you and I are, we have a Vyavaharika Satta, a relative reality where we are born and we will die. And Arjuna's grief is based on taking that to be reality that all these people are going to die. Therefore Lord Krishna says that nobody was born and nobody will die. If Arjuna has that reality in mind, that nobody will die in spite of the death of the body, then the cause of grief, which is death, at this point, death of his near and dear ones is the primary cause of the grief of Arjuna. And Lord Krishna wants to become free from that grief. So all these verses here, from 11th to 30th, are meant to help Arjuna become free from shoka or grief. Natvam shochadumarasi, it will conclude it. And grief cannot be if there is no death, because death is the cause of grief of Arjuna. So Lord Krishna wants Arjuna to see that there is no death in the real sense. So this is the verse that Swami Shankaranandi explains. The introduction of that verse begins on page 43, the last two lines. Okay, you don't have that? Okay, all right. I'll read those two lines. It is the introduction to the commentary of this verse. Ashochan anvachosas shochastvamiti bhishmadinam ashochatve pratipadile. When Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, you are grieving for those who do not deserve to be grieved for, you are grieving for the possible death of Bhishma and Drona, but no, they are deathless. Bhishmadi padalakshartasya atmanah. But we know that Bhishma and Drona are going to die. And when Lord Krishna says that they also do not deserve to be grieved for, which means they don't die. By saying that Bhishma and Drona do not deserve to be grieved for, meaning that Bhishma and Drona do not die. So by that, what is Lord Krishna saying? Atmana dehendriyadibhya bhinnatvam. When Arjuna uses the word Bhishma, he has somebody in mind. That is the commonly understood meaning of word Bhishma. That is Upadhya Bhishma. The body, sense, mind complex of Bhishma is called Bhishma and Drona. But when Lord Krishna says that Bhishma and Drona will not die, he has someone else in mind. He has in mind the Atma, the self that Bhishma and Drona in fact are. So what we call Bhishma, Drona, Arjuna, you, I, all of us, apparently have two aspects in us. One is the costume that we are wearing, other is the one that wears the costume. What we perceive through our senses is a costume. And we see the birth of the costume, the growth of the costume, the death of the costume, and equate that to the birth and growth and death of the one that is wearing the costume. There is an actor and costume. What we perceive is actor, is costume, rather, and we superimpose the birth and death of costume to that of the actor, the Atma. Therefore, Lord Krishna wants to separate the Atma from Anatma. And already Lord Krishna said that Bhishma and Drona, they do not deserve to be greed for, meaning that there is no death for Bhishma and Drona. In a way he hinted, Lord Krishna hinted, in what you call Bhishma and Drona also, there is an element that is deathless, that is birthless, that is eternal. And that's how the Atma, the eternal, was suggested to be different from this body, sense, mind complex, which is Anatma. That is what was suggested or indicated by saying that Bhishma and Drona are not worth being greedy for, meaning they do not die. Now we come to our page. Arjuna did not naturally know this. Ajanan Arjunam Alakshya. So Lord Krishna made the statement. And Arjuna was perplexed. What do you mean? That they do not die. So seeing Arjuna to be perplexed, Shri Bhagavan, so Arjuna keeps in mind the costume and draws all his conclusions. Lord Krishna has in mind the one wearing the costume, and that's how he makes statements. That they are not the same page. At this time, Arjuna and Lord Krishna are not on the same page. And Lord Krishna wants Arjuna to bring him to the same page where he is, then Arjuna will know what the reality is. Lakshyarthasya Atmana Nityatvedu. So in Vedanta you must have heard the expression Vachyartha and Lakshyartha. The costume is Vachyartha, the actor is Lakshyartha. When you see a beggar on the stage, beggar is Vachyartha, commonly understood meaning, actor is Lakshyartha, the real meaning. Here also, when you say Bhishma, Drona, then the costume is the what we understand. But the true meaning is the one that is wearing, that's called Lakshyartha. This costume is of course impermanent, but the one putting on the costume is eternal. Lakshyarthasya Atmana Nityatve. The Atma is Nitya, eternal. Why is it so? Ajatvam hetu, because it is birthless, therefore deathless. Iti ajatva hetuna. All right. So this is, Shankaranandi needs our sort of attention as well as the intellect to be always functioning properly. with reasoning. So because they are birthless, therefore they are deathless. Oh, you mean that which is not born does not die? But then how about the horn on my head? That also is never born. So this will apply to my horn on my head also? He says, no, we are talking about that which exists, So this horn on the head never is, and therefore we are talking about something that is bhavatva, something that is. So something that is will not die if it is not born. Ajatvam nityatatva prayojakam. Therefore, not being born is the reason why that will not die, meaning that it is eternal. Yasya kalatre satta na vivicharati sabhavo nityascha. That which is ever there in all the three periods of time, kalatra, in the past, present and future. So that which is, which does not change by changing of time, that is called eternal. Yasya vicharati nasubhavaha. So bhava means that which is. That which was, which is, which will be is called bhavaha, that which exists. That which is not in all the three periods of time cannot be called bhavaha. Cannot say it exists. Anityascha, and therefore it is not eternal. Iti atmana kalatrevi satta pratipadana dvara. That Atma exists in all the three periods of time, past, present and future. That alone can be called is. So that which was, which is, which will always be alone deserves to be called is. And that which does not enjoy the existence in all three periods of time can be called is. We are all there, yeah, but you will not be in future, so you can't be called is, according to this. And therefore, when you say is, means there is something called Atma. That was, that is, that will be, even when the body may not be. Atmana dehendriyadibhya bhinnatvam nityatvam suchaitum. The Atma, the self, is different from the body, sense, mind complex. And whereas this is mortal, this is perishable, Atma is immortal, imperishable. Now what is the benefit of knowing this Atma? Tell me. Suppose it is so. Suppose I am eternal, so what? Well, tvam padarthasya nishesha dukkha nivrittam sadhak nivritya. By knowing you yourself as eternal, no pain or sorrow can touch you. The eternal can never be unhappy or sad, because sadness comes only when there is mortality. See, there is a fear of death, number one. And fear in general of death and all other things in our life. All of these can touch only an entity that is mortal. This will not touch the immortal. Therefore, one who is immortal, untouched by any fear, any sadness, any sorrow. Therefore, nitya, niritasha, so samsara. By knowing the Atma itself, one becomes free forever all the pain or sorrow of samsara, because samsara, sorrow cannot touch Atma. Nitya, niritisha, akhanda ananda, avaptaye. So knowing Atma as Nitya makes me free from all dukkha. But then what about attainment of happiness? There are two aspects. One is that I want to be ever free from all sorrow. Atyantika dukkha nivritti. And secondly, I want to attain unsurpassable happiness. Nirtishaya sukha avapti. So by knowing Atma is eternal, I know that no dukkha will touch me, but still, what about my happiness? Tat padarthasyapi. Then I should know that I am Brahman, I am Ishvara. That is when I know myself as limitless, and that's how I know myself as of the nature of eternal happiness. But then Bhagavan is away, Swamiji. Ishvara, you say, Ishvara is limitless, I know. He is Ananda, but he is away, separated from me in time, place, in quality. So in one stroke, by Tattvamasi, by this Mahavakya, both these notions are eliminated. Hey, Tat, Tvam Tat, you are Tat, you are limitless. You are not limited. And Tat is Tvam, that Ishvara or Bhagavan is you, means is not remote. Thus, in one sentence, the remoteness of Ishvara, the limitedness of Jiva are both eliminated. And to say that now, so according to this Tikakara, the next verse is meant to reveal the identity between Tat and Tvam. Then only Ishvara is no more Paroksha, the Ananda is not Paroksha, Ananda is myself, and I am not limited because Ishvara is myself. So this verse is looked upon as revealing the Mahavakya. Okay, let us read that verse here again. Natve vaham jatu nasam natvanne me janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. Here, Arjuna, it never was that I was not. Lord Krishna says, I always was. Natvam. There never was a time when you were not, you always were. Ime janadipaha. There never was a time when all these kings also, warriors were not, they also were, means all of us are eternal. Nachaivana bhavishyamaha. There never will be a time when we will not be, meaning that we will always be. So it was never that we were not there. You know what it means? That we were never there. Not that we were never there, meaning we were not born. See, what is birth? Birth is the coming to existence of what was not. That's called birth, isn't it? A child is born, so before birth the child was not. So for somebody to be born, that somebody should not exist before the birth. Then only birth is possible. But for the one who always exists, there is no birth. Lord Krishna says we were always there, so we are not born. And for death to happen also, one should cease to exist after death. But we will always be, so there will be no death for us also. We are all eternal. So now going back to the Tika, Natu eva aham. See, if you look at the verse, Natu eva aham. Aham means I. Who says this? Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna uses the pronoun aham means I. Meaning what? Says aham. Lord Krishna is Bhagavan. So here he is talking about as Ishvara. In the Mahavakya Tattvamasi, Tat is stands for Ishvara Tvam stands for Jiva, Asi stands for the oneness, identity. Aham tat padartha. See, Vedantin says tat padartha means what? In the Mahavakya Tattvamasi. Tat pada artha, the meaning of the word tat. Where? In the statement Tattvamasi. The statement Tattvamasi, what's the meaning of the word tat? I stands for that tat or Ishvara. Who am I? Paramatma, Sarvajna, Sarvashakti, Sarvatantra, Swatantra, Parameshwara. This is the style. That many synonyms are used or many adjectives are used. That Bhagavan says, I am Paramatma, Sarvajna, omniscient, Sarvashakti, omnipotent, Sarva Tantra Swatantra. I am independent in every way. I am not dependent upon anybody, upon anything. Parameshwara, Parameshwara. You see, we have all these rules of the road that you should stop at red light and stuff like that. When the governor is passing on the road, he doesn't follow any rule. Because one who makes a rule is not bound by a rule. So Lord has made all the rules, not bound by sarvatantra swatantra. I am independent of all kinds of tantra, all dependence, all control. Nato aham jatu. This is what jatu. What is jatu? Kadachit. Na asamiti na. That never was I not. I always was. Kintu sarva asameva. It's not that I was never was, I always was. And then says, suppose Lord is not there, what will happen? Mat asambhave jagat sustyadi asambhavad. Bhagavan says, if I am not there, then Jagat will not be there. There will be no creator, sustainer, dissolver, endeavor. It cannot be that I am not. Ishvara is always to be there. Then only Jagat, creation, sustenance, dissolution is possible. How do Yatah. This is the Brahma Sutra, number 2. It says, Yatah, Ishvara, from whom there is the creation, sustenance, dissolution of this universe. Next statement from, he is very fond of quoting. Lots of quotations will be there. And some of them we have to do some research to find out where they come from. And even then also we may not find. Yato va imani bhutani. So, here in short, the Tika Akara is giving the statements from the scriptures to show how the universe has emerged from Ishvara. He is a creator. Yato va imani bhutani jayante, the one from whom all the beings are born. Yato jatani bhunani vishvaha. So, the one from whom all the vishvaha, all of these are born. All bhuvanas, all the worlds are born from whom? So aikshata. So that is perhaps from the Shvetashvatara. This one, saikshata lokanu srijayati, Aitareya Upanishad. So before the creation, Ishvara deliberated, may I create these worlds. Saiman lokan asrujata. Having deliberated, Ishvara created these worlds, ityadi. Meaning that these are statements which reveal the fact that Ishvara is a creator. But then how about the sustenance? He sustained also. Yena jata etc., etc. So these are the very quotations showing that Ishvara is the sustainer of the universe. Then there are quotations which says the universe merges into Ishvara. So it emerges from Ishvara, sustained by Ishvara, merges back into Ishvara. Yat prayanti abhisamvishanti tathakshara dvira. So that is Swami Taittiriya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, etc., etc. Ityadi Shrutivihi mattaheva jagallayo vishravyate. So Tikakara says Shruti very clearly expounds that the universe is born of Ishvara, that it emerges from Ishvara, it merges back from Ishvara, it is sustained by Ishvara. So this is the style of the scholars. When they make a statement, that statement should be supported by what we call pramanam or the valid means, in this case Shruti and then the accepted Smritis. And therefore the next line says, I am in the sixth line. I may jump the lines, by the way. Yataha madeka kartrukatvam jagat srishtyadi kriyaya by Ishvara, merges back into Ishvara. So what emerges may not be there before its emergence. What merges may not be there after the merger. But that from which it emerges, that in which it merges, like all the waves emerge from water, they merge back into water in the ocean. You follow? So waves are there or not there, but that from which they emerge, water was always there. So Jagat comes and goes, but the one from which it emerges and that it merges is always there. Therefore, yataha madeka kartrukatvam jagat srishtyadi kriyaya. Since I am the creator, sustainer, dissolver of the universe, tataha, therefore, the creation, the universe has a start, a beginning. Universe has a middle. Universe has an end. Because I am the creator of beginning, middle and end of the universe. But then one who brings about is always there. See, I am the one who creates the universe. One who sustains the universe. One who resolves the universe. So universe was not there before it's created, but I am the one who brings it about, is always there. Therefore, tad adhishtratrutaya sada aham asameva eti. And the adhishtanam, substratum upon which the play of the creation, sustenance, dissolution takes place. So all these things to happen, there must be a platform. There must be a platform upon which all these, the whole drama of creation, sustenance, dissolution takes place. For the drama to take place, there must be a platform, a stage, isn't it? Ishvara, Bhagavan says, I am the stage upon which the drama of creation, sustenance, dissolution takes place. That's called Adhishtanam in Vedanta. Therefore, prapancha tadutpatyadina adhishtanataya sthitasya tatpadarthasya swasvarupa nishkaras. Therefore, see, all creation, sustenance, dissolution is in the universe. All changes are in the universe. Universe is an assembly of countless components. But the stage upon which all this play takes place has no parts, has no beginning, has no end, because otherwise this drama cannot take place. तत्पदार्थस्य स्वस्वरूपतः निष्कलत्वेन निष्क्रियत्वेन. See, the universe is made of countless parts. But Ishvara, who makes it, is partless. Nishkriyatvena, the universe is undergoing change constantly, and it's always in motion. Ishvara, the platform, see, platform on which drama takes place has to be free from the motion, is it not so? Or motion takes place in play, in drama. The platform or the stage upon which that takes place is motionless, partless. Prapancha, tad dharma, tat karma, lesha sambandha rahitatvam. Therefore, that stage is devoid of any limitations of the drama, any changes of the drama, is changeless, limitless, ever the same. Ishvara says, therefore, I am changeless, limitless, ever the same. And the stage is different from the drama. Bhagavan says, I am different from the universe, bhinnatvam. Nityatvam, drama is changing constantly, the stage is changeless, nitya, eternal. So by saying that the creation, sustenance, dissolution of universe takes place because of me, that I am different from that, devoid of all the changes in the universe, all the parts and activities of the universe, and therefore I am nitya, I am eternal, changeless. That is what is saying. That is suggested by saying that I am creator, sustainer, dissolver. You follow? So that is what the Tikakara says, that prapancha tad dharma tat karma lesha samandha rahitatvam. That I am devoid of even iota of the karma and dharma of the prapancha, and the bhinnatvam, I am different from that, nityatvam, I am changeless and eternal, is indicated by saying that I am creator, sustainer, dissolver, different platform, dhisthana. Alright. So says Nanu, now this is Lord Krishna says about me. Arjuna says, okay, I understand. Nanu, Parameshwarasya, this is a style again, to raise a question and an answer. Parameshwarasya swatantrasya kalatrevi tava sadbhavastu. All right, Bhagavan, you are Parameshwara. And you are ever free, independent, not under anybody's control, and therefore nobody can bring about any change in you. Therefore, you exist in all the three periods of time. You are eternal, I understand, because you are Ishvara. But I am mortal, I know that I was born. Even the Lord Krishna also was born, they were all celebrating his birthday, but Lord Krishna reveals himself like this. So Arjuna says, okay, I can understand you, Bhagavan. But I know that I am going to die. I was born, I am going to die. I am mortal. Martyasya nityatvam. How do you say I am also like you? Here Lord Krishna says that I am changeless and you are also changeless. How can I be? Arjuna says, I can understand that you are Bhagavan. I am just a little mortal human being. So the verse is Natvam, not that you never were. So last two lines of that page 45, Tvam Tatvad Lakshyartasya Jatu Kadachit Na Asihiti Na Kintu Asihiti Na Asihiti Na Kintu Asihi. Hey Arjuna, there never was a time when you were not, you always were. Atita, Anagata, Dehotpatyadishu, Jagradadishu, Tvam Asiyeva. Now here, see Arjuna, the Deha comes and goes, but everybody knows. Vasamsa Jirnani, just as a person discards the worn out garment and takes up a new garment, so also the self discards the worn out garment, takes up the new garment. So even though Arjuna may not have been in this particular garment in the past, in some garment he always was. Atita, Anagata, devotpatyadishu jagradadu shiva. Just as, see, in the waking state I am there, in the dream state, the body is different from what we have in the waking, by the way. When we are dreaming, we don't have this body, it is a dream body. When fast asleep, dream body also is not there. So when the waking body comes and goes, the dream body comes and goes, the deep sleep body comes and goes, the I always is it not so? So similarly also, this physical body may come and go, but the I always will be. So it's understandable that yes, the one possessing the body was always there. So just as when you who is awake right now, will be the one who will be dreaming, and one who is dreaming will be sleeping, one is sleeping will again be awake. So that is how, it's not that the fellows are different. Who is a dreamer? The one who is waker alone is a dreamer. Thank God that we also know that. Even though in the dream I may not know, but when I wake up then I know that the one who was awake was the one that was dreaming, and one that was awake was the one who was sleeping, and one who was sleeping is one who was awake. That continuity is there. So, just as different bodies, waking body is one, dream body, similarly also past body, present body, future body. It's understandable that is one Atma alone in all of them. Similarly also, even next body also will be there, Arjuna, as you are the past body, this body, next body, the waking body, dream body, sleep body. Otherwise, what will happen? See, these people say only all these traditions born in India, they alone accept the past birth and next birth and law of karma. Whether Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, everybody accepts law of karma, past birth, present birth, new future birth. But the tradition that are all evolved in the Middle East, they don't accept it. All the Abrahamic dharma. So then you can't explain life. See, if you think that the fellow is born now, he never existed before and a new I has come. The question is, why am I like this? And why is he like that? Why is she like that? Why? Because none of us existed. So what is the reason why we are what we are? How to explain the diversity? You can't explain unless Bhagavan did it. Then Bhagavad is in trouble. Why did he do? Why did he make me like this? Why did he make him like that? So therefore, Sukha Dukkhadi Vaichitrya Asambhavat. Don't accept past birth and future birth. We cannot accept and explain the diversity. Why is one happy, other one unhappy, etc. Because they have their own karma, they have their own history, therefore they have their own experiences. Tada tadrugveda karma kartu astiva dhyantare sadbhava. See, here the Vedanta then says that, how do you say that there was past birth? The fact that you have a unique upadhi in this birth, your unique sukha dukkha, which means that there is a diversity, variety of happiness and unhappiness experienced in everyone, that cannot be explained unless everyone had a past history different from the others. That's the only way to explain. So unless we accept the continuity of life, we cannot explain the diversity, cannot explain the fairness, apart from diversity, the fairness of Sukha Dukkha. This in India, I know Swami, some karma must be there. At least ultimately they accept it. What did I do, Swami? Why do I go through this? What did I do? But at least everybody accepts that some reason must be there for this to happen. And that in some way I must have caused this. Although we don't like it. But in a way we accept it because that samskara is there with us of the past birth. When it is not there, here people get stuck. Why me? Why should it happen to me? Because see, no reason at all. We see the reason karma. Our Swami is a big shock absorber, karma. It is shock doesn't go away, but shock gets absorbed. There's some reason must be there. Karma vaichitrādeva sukha dukkhādi vaichitriyam. That there is variety, diversity in sukha dukkha because of diversity of karma. So punya karma gives rise to sukha, pap karma gives dukkha, etc. Otherwise, krutahana, akruta, abhyaga, if you don't accept past life, then why do I have to put up with this? I haven't done anything to deserve this, Swamiji. This is the usual question. I have not done anything to deserve this. Why do I have to go through this? Why did my mother have to go through this? What did she do? She lived a very pious life. Why did she suffer? We have only explanation, we have is karma. But she did not do anything in this, yes, maybe in the past life. So that is how dehantareshu sadbhava will accept the past birth and the past action and the present results. So the 7th line says, 6th line, purukrutasya adhuna krutasya karmana phalam bhavi janmani anupujyeta. Therefore, what was done in the past birth is experienced in this birth. What is done in this birth will be experienced in the next birth, future birth. Therefore, Tika shows how Arjuna also always was. Just as you are there in the waking body, dream body, deep sleep body, so also you were there in your previous birth because the karma you did then are the results. They result into sukha dukkha now. Therefore, it is reasonable to accept that there was a past birth, there is a next present birth, there will be future birth. And therefore, Arjuna, you also always were. Because there is no birth, it is an ongoing process. The ongoing process of birth and death. When can that be? See, number one thing we know, that when I die, this body is left here, I am not going to be born with this body. Isn't it? That I is different from this body, otherwise the body dies and I do not die. That means I must be different from the body. So this shows that the Atma is different from the body, mind, sense complex. Therefore, etena tum padarthasya atmana dehendriyadibhya bhinnatvam nityatvam suchidam bhavati. See, the fact that you accept past birth and this birth and next birth, we know that body is born. But I take up different bodies, meaning that I am not born, therefore I am different from body. Dehendriyadibhya bhinnatvam suchidam. That I, the Atma, is bhinna, is different from this body, mind, sense complex. Nityatvam, this is perishable, but the one who is appearing through that is imperishable, is nitya. So Lord Krishna says, there never was a time when I was not, I am eternal. There never was a time when you were not, you are also eternal. How about this fellow? Ime janadipaha. There never was a time when, because they are and I am not different. Arjuna and all those are not different. Therefore, they also were always there. That Atma also is different from the body, mind, sense complex. Now, so Tikakara says last sentence, janadipahayati avidya vritti bhedena bhavachanam natu atma. So, but when Lord Krishna says you and I and all these warriors, does it mean that there are as many atmas? Arjuna is one Atma, I am another Atma, the warriors are another Atma. So plural is image, Janadhipaha is a plural, right? Janadhipaha, Janadhipau, Janadhipaha. So plural means that there are as many Atmas, as many embodiments are there. Is that what Lord Krishna means? He says, no, that plural is used only for what? Because there are so many appearances, otherwise not there are many Atmas. Meaning that in spite of all these countless individuals, Atma is one. So that is a good occasion to ask a question. Nanu, Atma Vede, who says Atma is one? How can you say Atma is one? Where is the proof? Here, the Tikakara said that even though Lord Krishna uses the plural, Ime Janadhipaha, all these kings, all these warriors, uses plural there, that plurality is not intended to convey the plurality of Atma, only plurality of the costumes, not of Atma. The Atma is one. So the question is, where is the proof? How, on what basis is Atma is one? We see only different Atmas. Says, Nanu, Atma, Bhede, Tat Ati Sahasam. And there is no proof that Atmas are many. That's what you say. Oh, but that is Ati Sahasam. That is a statement that is without any reason. You just make a statement like that. Atma Tattve Vicharyamane. So when you think of the Atma, then you cannot arrive at oneness of Atma. They are all different Atmas. How could you say that there is no proof of the manyness of Atma? Lord Krishna says, because the Tikakara made a statement that Lord Krishna is a plural Janadhipaha. All these warriors, not in the sense of manyness of Atma, Atma is one. How do you say Atma is one? What is the proof that Atma is one? Because our experience seems to be that Atmas are many. Pratyakshadi pramana virodat. Because what we perceive, what we experience, seems to only reveal that there are many Atmas, not one. Alright. So then, here gives a reasoning why Atmas are many. Or our experience seems to reveal manyness of Atma. Not Atmas are many, but so it is a fact that we take each other to be different, isn't it not? We take so many Atmas, that is how our life is based on. So, what is the base? Why have we come to that conclusion? Without asking anybody, without being told by anybody, I have taken for granted that there are as many Atmas as many embodiments are. So, what's the reason for my conclusion? Says, Tatha yatra yatra aham pratyaveda tat tatra atma veda iti. You say aham, she says aham, he says aham, I say aham. All the ahams are different. Aham pratyaya. You know, aham is I. Pratyaya is the notion that is conveyed by aham. So everybody means different by aham, aham. You follow? Aham pratyaya bheda. Everybody, this person says aham means a man, aham means a woman, aham means a child, aham means soul, and everybody, the meaning of the word aham is different. Or people are using that word aham in different meanings. Therefore, Atmas are many, otherwise why should they use them in a different sense? And if you insist that Atma is one, then why do you use this pronoun he, she, I, that person, this person, he? We would not be using these pronouns unless they are all different. So if Atma is one, no interaction can take place. I can't interact with myself. I can't talk to myself. Swami, I heard you talking. You're talking to whom? In your room? For me to talk, there was someone to whom I am talking. and that sound must be different from me. So that Atma must be different from this Atma. Then only this talking, listening can take place. All Vyavahara can take place only when Atmas are many. You can't talk to yourself. You can't interact with yourself. So Vyavahara means all interactions. The interactions are taking place that reveals that we are all different and therefore Atmas are many. So Atma Vede Pratyaksham Pramanam, therefore this is our direct experience that Atmas are many. Atma Veda Bhava Vyavahara. Then if you don't accept many Atmas, then we cannot explain how interaction can take place only between two different people. Any Vyavahara means interaction. Interaction presupposes two different entities, isn't it? Unless something happened to me and I'm looking at my reflection in the mirror and conversing with me, then we may think something of that person. But usually when we talk to someone different from ourselves. When one great Swamiji, or Mataji called, Swamiji so and so, he says, I'm busy right now. You know what I'm doing? I'm looking at my own reflection in the mirror. This was at night, about 10 o'clock. I'm making faces and laughing. So how to create laughter for me? So you must laugh for some period of time every day. And the way to laugh is looking at his own face, doing all kinds of stuff, and then laughing. This is called interacting with oneself. But usually that doesn't happen. Usually when we interact with other people. So interaction will not be there if your Atmas are not many. So Vyavahara cannot be unless Atmas are many. So that Vyavahara also shows, this is called Arthapatti, that Atmas are many. And therefore, as many embodiments are there, as many Atmas are there, as many cows, as many numbers are there, that many cows are there, so as many people are there, that many Atmas are there. Because you refer to I as something and I refer to I as something else, and that is quite different. In the Shastra also they use expressions. Devadanava Gandharvaha Yaksha Rakshasa Kinnaraha Devata Danavaha Gandharvaha Kinnaraha Yakshaha Rakshasaha. Unless they were different, nobody would use this expression, isn't it? That means Devatas are different, Danavas are different, Yaksha is different, Rakshasa is different, Kinnara is different, Gandharva is different. That shows that Atmas are many. Second thing is, if Atma is one, then this Sukha Dukkha, the Vyavastha means one is happy, at the same time other is unhappy. However, if Atma is one, then all of them should be happy together, is it not so? There's only one Atma, when he is doing this, everybody should be doing that, is it not so? He is looking at, everybody should be looking at, if Atma is one, then when you smile, everybody should smile. You are happy, everybody should be happy, is it not so? But here somebody is smiling, somebody. So different expressions are there that shows that there are as many Atmas, as many people are, is it not so? So this is our direct perception, that Atmas are many. So this is the basis of the Sankhyas to accept the manyness of Atma. Ekasmin dukkhini sukhini cha sarvevi dukkhinah sukhinah syuhu. If one is dukkhi, everybody should be dukkhi. If one is sukhi, everybody should be. If Atma is one, if one is happy, everybody should be happy. One is happy and everybody should be unhappy. One is born, everybody should be born. If one is born, one is dying, one is happy. So all this diversity shows that Atma cannot be one. If Atma is one, then the Atma of Devata is my Atma also. Devatas are all serving omniscient, then I should be omniscient also. They are all powerful, I should be also powerful. And then if Atma is one, then I am also like, Puja Swami's Atma is my Atma, then everybody is liberated, If one is liberated, everybody should be liberated. Therefore, our experience shows what? It See, Atma is one. Then one person is doing punya karma, other is doing papa karma. To punya karma says you do this, to other fellow you says don't do this. If Atma is one, then how can you say that you do this and you don't do?
So the Vidinisheda, the Vyavastha will
All Vyavastha will be gone, yes. Meaning that our experience, day-to-day experience, seems to show that Atma must be many. And you throw away all these conclusions if Atma is one.
So mainly the objection is the Shruti Anantarkyam will come. So that we cannot accept. Is that it?
There are many reasons given here. One of the thing is Vidinisheda Shastranam also.
Yeah, he is,
You cannot explain the Vyavahara. If Atma is one, you can't explain the Vyavahara. Who is doing Vyavahara with whom? Atma is one, you can't explain the diversity. One is happy, other is unhappy. How do you explain that? And further, if Atma is one, then everybody is the same. Therefore, within Nisheda, one is doing, other is doing opposite. That cannot be. So that is one of the things, not the only thing.
So so the Brahmanyam of the Shruti will be affected. Is that the objection?
Yeah. It is one of the reasons will be also that Shruti accepts the diversity. Shruti says, you do this, amam yaja, you worship this. So Shruti also seems to accept the diversity. So a lot of problems will be there. You can't explain Vyavahara if Atma is one. You can't explain diversity if Atma is one. You can't explain the Shruti's instructions are different if Atma is one. So how do you say Atma is one? So this is how you build up the objection. And it looks like that's right. Yeah. So let's see how the teacher replies. We are on the page 47, last, what line? Line before the last. He says, no, even though all the objections are there, still the conclusion cannot be that Atma are many. Vyapta vichara pratyakshadi is pratyaksha asiddhe. Even when you say that we experience diversity, that diversity doesn't mean Atmas have to be different. We explain diversity in one also. So diversity does not necessarily mean that the entities are different. For example, it says Shishuhu, Dehinosmin Yathadehe Kaumaram Yauvanam Jara. When I was child, still I said I. I was youth, I said I. Middle-aged, I. Old man, I. So, I refers to a different entity, doesn't mean eyes are different. Aham sukhi, aham dukhi, that doesn't mean that aham is different. So, your conclusion that because we experience diversity, the Atma must be different, that conclusion is, or that reasoning is violated. In here, that there is one entity is child, he is youth, he is old age, etc. And still the Atma is one. That means that just because the entities are different, child is different, youth is different, old person is different, doesn't mean Atmas have to be different. So even these entities are different, doesn't mean Atmas are different, because one exception is shown. Because the people are many, therefore Atma must be many. So there is no rule. See, child is one person, youth is another person, middle age is another person. Persons are different, but Atmas are not different. Same person also is child, youth, middle age, old. Therefore, many entities does not have to mean many Atmas, because in one Atma also all these many entities come and go. You follow? So says here, Shishu Kumaraha, page 48, Yuva Vruddhohamiti, Shishuham, I'm a child, Kumaraha, I'm an adolescent, Yuva, I'm young adult, etc. So, as is iti shaishavadi dashabhedena. So just as it states of my body change, then also my notion of the I also keeps on changing. Doesn't mean that eyes are many. The I are many. Tattad avasthanam bhedat. So what is where the difference is in the states of the body, not in the Atma. Therefore, just because everybody uses the I in different sense doesn't mean I is different. You follow the argument here? When I was a child, I used the word I in one sense, in the sense of child. When I grew up, then I used that word I in adolescent. I grew up further, I use I as a young adult. I grew up further, I use the same I for a middle-aged person. So just because the I seems to mean differently doesn't mean I are many, because all this manyness was because of the manyness of the states of the body. So also the manyness that you see also is due to manyness of the upadhis. So manyness of I does not have to mean manyness of Atma. That's all the idea is.
So the original Vyapti was Yatra Yatra Vyavahara Bhinnatvam Tatra Tatra Atma Bhinnatvam. But now the Siddhanta is pointing out the Adhivyapti dosham of that Vyapti. Is that it?
No, Atma Anekatvam Sarvevi Sukhina Dukkhina Syu. Various reasons were given why our Vyavahara or day-to-day experiences reveal that Atmas are many. Because Atma was one then, when one was happy, everybody should be happy. That's not the case, number one. And then they use expressions also, Devaha, Gandharvaha, Manushyaha, Pitaraha, etc. And if Devata Atma was Maya Atma, then I would be Sarvagna, etc. Then also, when he said you do this, others said you don't do that, all that also anarthaka, if Atma were one, within this is Shastranam. So, several reasons were given for the conclusion that Atmas are many from our Vyavahara. So, the answer is that there is no rule that because in Vyavaharas are different, that the Atmas are different. Because Shishuhu, Yuva, Vruddha, all the Vyavaharas are different and still Atma is one. One exception you show, that's all. I need not reply every individual objection. But the thing is that because you experience diversity of Atma, the Atmas are many, hey, we experience diversity of Atma in one also. That doesn't make Atma as many. So to dislodge his conclusion, that because I see many people, therefore Atmas are many. So how do you superimpose manyness of people upon Atma? We don't do that in ourselves because the manyness of the body goes, but we don't superimpose that manyness upon Atma. Atma is still experienced as one. So why can't this be also? So Vyaptis, the Vyaktis are many. The Atmas are many, but in my case also Vyaktis change, and still Atma is one. Therefore, the manyness of Vyakti doesn't have to equate with manyness of Atma. So that's the Vyabhichara. So, nai kaumare shishuhuamiti pratyasti tad utpasaishava abhavat. Because when I grow up to be a youth, then no more now there is in me this notion that I am a child. The notion I am a child goes away when I grow to be a youth. Because I said I am a child because there was some entity that was child. That entity went away, another entity has come. Now I say I am a youth. And therefore, my expression changes because changes take place in body, not in Atma. Nanu Visheshana Vedat Vishishtasya Veda Nyayana. Why not? Why not you say that Atma was different in the child and Atma is different in youth and Atma is different? Why do you say it is one Atma? Visheshana Vedat Vishishtasya Veda iti Nyayana. The rule is that when the attributes change, then the one possessing attributes also changes. Visheshana Vedat, Visheshana is attribute. Vishishta, one who possesses attribute. So changing of attributes, so when you say, this is yellow flower, this is violet flower, this, so when attributes change and the entities possessing attributes also change. So this is child, youth, you are middle-aged. So therefore the one possessing them also should change. Why do you say that Atma is one for the child and the youth? The rule is that the one possessing different attributes also is different. Visheshanasya Vedat, Vishishtasya Vibheda. Avastha Vedavatopi Bhedasyat. Therefore, how do you say that the I who was a child was I who was youth, who was I who was middle, who is I who is old? How do you say that? Iti chet, if this is a question, then answer. Tasya Shishutvadi Abhimani Ahankareva Charitarthatvat. Yes, something changes. When the avasthas change, where ahankara changes. So this rule, Visheshana Vedat, what is the Visheshana? The youth, the old, etc. Who is Vishishta? Ahankara. It's not Atma that is Vishishta. So Visheshana Vedat, Vishishtasya Viveda. When attributes change, the one possessing attribute also changes with the possessor of attribute, Ahankara. So yes, we accept the ahankara changes. Visheshana Vedat, Vishishtasya Viveda. So ahankare charitarthatvat. So that rule will apply here. And that rule can be explained by the difference in ahankara, not difference in Atma. Ahankara difference we accept, you don't need to accept the difference in Atma. You follow? So that is why that rule also is right and still this is also right. The rule, Vishishtasya Vedat, Visheshanasya Vedat, Vishishtasya is right. The ahankara is Vishishta. But that Atma changes, that it doesn't apply to Atma. Anyatha balyam arabhya dehendriya krita karyam karyasmar asambhavat. The point here is that suppose Atma changed. That's an interesting thing. Suppose you say that Atma of the child was different from Atma of the youth is different from that of child and that was, then what happens is, if Atma changes, there will be no continuity in my life. I cannot remember what I experienced in childhood, That we remember the experience of a childhood, that shows that there is a continuity in my life. Is it not so? See, memory can be only for the one who experienced. So people tell their experiences as children, experiences as youth. Or Mataji remembers all sorts of things, everything. When she was 3-year-old, I don't even remember how So from then on, he keeps on telling so many things. You can't remember unless you were the one who experienced it. Who remembers it? the memory is possible only for the one who experienced it. I cannot remember what you experienced. So when I experienced what the child did, that means I was the child who experienced and who is telling now. So that shows continuity. So this is also the argument against the Shunyavada, the Kshanikavada. Maya balye kritam kandu khelanamiti. When I was child, I was playing with the ball. Atmanekatve etasmaranam na ghadate. You can't remember. If the Atma that is now is different, then you can't remember what you did as a child. Anyukute karmane anyasya smrutiya darshanat. One cannot remember what somebody else did. I remember what I did as a child, therefore, the one who was a child is the one who is now. Yataha balyam vruddhatva vasanagakaram karyam smaryate. Tataha pratyabhedena pratyartha bhedeti pratyaksham asiddham. Therefore, pratyaya is different, but then the pratyartha need not change. Pratyaya changes. Pratyartha bhede iti pratyaksham asiddham. There is no experience like that. That pratyaya changes, but the pratyartha, the I does not change. Vyakti bhedat advairi anumanam nasitnas. Then, that there are many Vyaktis and therefore many Atmas, that's the anumanam. As many Vyaktis are people are there, as many Atmas are there. So that also you can't prove. Sthula, Sukshma, because I change bodies every day. We change bodies every day. In waking state, one body. Dream state, another body. Deep sleep state, third body. The bodies are many, but Atma is one. So also body can be many and Atma can be one, isn't it? But then why does Shruti says Devaha, Gandharvaha, Manushyaha, Yakshaha, Pitaraha? Why does Shruti say Devata, Gandharva? Oh, that is only Upadhis are different, not that Atmas are different. Sarvatra Chaitanyasa Ekarupatva, because the consciousness is one and therefore you cannot establish manyness of consciousness or Atma. So, but Swamiji, if Atma is one, then there must be something that is one, isn't it? In the child, in the youth, in the old age, something must be same. Then, I keeps on changing. How is Atma one? Says, no, ahamasmi, ahamasmi, ahamasmi. I am child, I am youth, I am middle-aged, I am old. In that, I am remains unchanged. And that is Atma. That remains unchanged. In you also, you say, I am a man, but I am is there first. I am. Even a dog and cat and mosquito also, I am. That I am is Atma. Then you join something, man, that all belongs to the Upada, that's all costume. But the one wearing the costume is I am, and that's one Atma. Just as in one person also, this is my head, these are my hands, these are my legs, this is my stomach. See how in one person itself so many, diversity is there, Bheda, Vyavahara is there. Similarly also, it can be in an Atma. Meaning that just because in Vyavahara there are many entities, just as in Vyavahara there are many entities here. The hands are there, legs are there, head is there, eyes are there, ears are there, and still there is one eye. So also all the entities can be there, then still there can be one eye. But then if Atmas are not different, how do you explain that one is happy, other is unhappy? How do you explain? If Atma is one, should it not be that everybody should experience happiness together? Atma is one, should not everybody be happy? If I am happy, you are the same Atma, you should be happy. I am unhappy, should be unhappy. If Atma is one, then should not the experience of all people be the same? They are all different. How can you say Atma is one? Yattu asati Atma vede sukha dukkha divastha na siddhyate. The one argument was that if Atma is one, then how do you explain? One is happy, other is unhappy, one is born, other is dying. How do you explain all this diversity when Atma is one? Tasya karmaika nibandhanat. And there is a different kind of reason is given here. This argument is found in the Mandukya Karika also. That part spaces, the part spaces, parts are many and part spaces are not many, and still there can be fragrance in one, there can be odor in another one. Not that's with the Upadhi Bheda is there, and therefore all diversity explained by Upadhi. He doesn't take that argument here. This Tikakara says, karma nibandhe, said everybody's karma is different. One is sukhi because of one's karma, dukhi because of one's karma. So diversity of karma can explain diversity of experiences. It does not need diversity of Atma. So the diversity of sukhitva, dukkhitva can be explained by karma. Therefore, you don't have to assume the diversity of Atma. That's the argument here is made here. Sukha dukkhayoho punya papa karyatvena tad bhedat bhoktra bhedat cha. See, happiness is result of punya karma, unhappiness is result of papa karma. So my history is different, your history is different, therefore the sukha dukkha are different. So karma bheda can explain the bheda in sukha dukkha. Because he said that if Atma is one, then all sukha dukkha will be all confused. He says, no, Atma can be one, karma can be many. And the diversity of karma will explain the diversity of sukha dukkha, the experience. But then why do you find many sati api atma ekatve tat avasanam? So what is different is the appearance of Atma, not in real Atma is different. As it appears to Upadhi, that is different. What I see is Atma with Upadhi. What I see is Atma with costume. So I think that Atmas are made of costumes are many. And so manyness can be a costume, not by a manyness of Atma. I'm skipping some discussion here. Now you see, the Sankhya's are arguing that Atma is one. All Sankhya's, Nayayikas, Vaisheshikas. So they accept the Atma as many, but at the same time they say Vibhu. Atma is many, Same time, all pervasive. Now, how do you explain that? So, go to page 51, in the first line. Atmanam anekatve vibhutve. On one hand, you say Atmas are many. Other hand, you say Atma is all pervasive. Doesn't make sense, but they still say that, So here, a specific person is answered. And that is like Sankhya, who says Atma, Vibhu, and Chidrupa, etc. Even Nayayikas also. Atmanam ekatve vibhutve cha abhivagate. You accept Atma is one and still all pervasive. How many all pervasive Atmas are there? Anyonya sham, anyonya manobuddhya. Then what happens is Atma is all pervasive. So Atma is contact with my manas buddhi also, your manas buddhi, everybody's manas buddhi. And so every Atma has a contact with every buddhi and mana. If they're all pervasive. Then uktaritya sukha dukkha bandha moksha. Then what happens is, if one Atma contacts all the mana buddhi, then sukha in one and dukkha in another one, moksha in one, bandha in another one. That vyavastha can't be explained if Atma is all pervasive. And so, Atmas are many and all pervasive. That all pervasive Atma will confuse this vyavastha. Because one Atma will contact all the upadhis, all sukha and all dukkha simultaneously. So they say Atma is one and many in Vibhu. What's the reason behind that? We don't know. Not only that, but how do you say Atmas are many and Vibhu? All pervasive. Yad vastu svaitara bhedvat tat tat. So, when Atmas are, when two things are many, they must limit each other. See, ghata and ghata means pot. Pata means cloth. So, ghata and pata are different. So, ghata is not where the pata is and pata is where not the ghata is. Meaning, ghata limits the pata. Ghata says, hey, pata, you don't have ghatatvam. Pata says, hey, ghata, you don't have patatvam. You follow? Children say that. See, this is, mom gave me this, look at this wrapper, and mom gave me that, so you don't have what I have, and I. So that is how they're all different. Ghata will say, hey, pata, you are not ghata. Pata says, hey, you are not ghata. And so that way, each one will limit. Each limit means what? Each one will show the defect of other. When ghata comes with pata, ghata has a complex. I don't have what pata has. We have this problem, by the way. Whenever we interact with each other, first thing is, hey, this is Dr. Rao. Wow, he is a PhD. He studied in great detail all the insects or something like that he has studied, PhD in this kind of thing. And so right away in me there is inferiority complex that I don't know what he knows. I see Swaminathan, wow, he's a great scientist. Right away complexes arise in me that I am inadequate. So meaning that whenever we come in contact with anybody, when there is a duality that that person is one, I am different, that means that what that person has, I don't have. Immediately everybody creates in me a sense of lack or want of what I don't have, what I am not. And therefore a complex is created. So when the duality differences are there, exclusion is there. Each one excludes the other, each one limits the other. Thus, if Atmas are many, they will all exclude each other, limit each other. Then how can that be Purna? How can we be Vibhu and Purna? If there are many, there cannot be many Purna. Because one is different from the other, one excludes the other, one doesn't know what the other one has, and then each one is incomplete. You can't say Atma is many and Purna also. Purnatve angikriyamane tu anekatvam na siddhyati. If you accept Purnatvam, then you would accept one only. Purnatva anekatvayo paraspara virodhat. Purna cannot exclude anything. Purna will include everything. That's called Purna. All inclusive. That's what Vedanta says. That hey, you are Purna. Now when can we someday know our Purnatvam, The yoga is living a way of life that is in keeping with our nature. We are acting in a way contrary to our nature. Our nature is that I am one and you are the same. Meaning by nature, I include everything. The way I behave is and this is mine. I protect it, and that's how I exclude everything. So understand how my vyavahara is quite contrary to my nature. That's why conflict. When we act in a manner contrary to our own nature, there is going to be conflict in my mind and conflict in the world also. All the conflicts are because we act in a manner quite contrary to our nature. Someday, if you want to understand that I am Purna, then my whole way of life should change so that I can own up that Purnatvam. That's how the yoga begins. Karma yoga means include others. When you say that I am offering my action to even to my family, that means I include family in me. To my neighbors, to my society, to my this, whatever. As the circle of expands, inclusion. So that is the idea of expanding ourselves, stretching ourselves. That has to happen. That's the only way that this can be owned up. But the point is that as long as our life is contrary to what our true nature is, the life also has to change. Understanding has to change first, and based on understanding, our nature also has to change, our vyavahara also has to change. Otherwise, there is virodha, contradiction between what I am and what I do. Atma must be one in all the bodies. Purnatvad, because Atma is Purna. Ghatadishu, Akashavat, like in all these parts, etc. It cannot be that this part space is different from that part space. Because space is all pervasive. For space to be all pervasive, it cannot be divided. That means that this part cannot divide the space, even though we think that this one part space, another part space. But that cannot be because then space cannot be all pervasive. They are similar. So the space must be the same in all enclosures. Enclosure can be small, can be big, it can have different attributes, but not the space. So also Atma Sarva Sharireshu, because space is all pervasive, therefore in all enclosures space must be one. So also Atma must be one in all the embodiments. Purnatvat, because Atma is Purna, like the space is Purna or all pervasive in all the ghata. This one. Atma ekayoti nishkalatvat, that's the reason. Atma is one because partless. The last line in page 51. Sarva prakashakatvat. The self is partless, consciousness and illuminating everything. Therefore, illuminator has to be one, has to be different from what is illumined. And so, number one, Atma is all pervasive, therefore has to be one, even though enclosures are many. Second, Atma is illuminator, there must be one based on, even the illumined are many, the illuminator is one. So, Nishkaratvat, Sarva Prakashikatvat, Sarva Sakshitvat, Sakshya, what are observed are many. Sakshi, the observer has to be one. What is illumined is many. Illuminator is one. What is pervaded is many. What pervades is one. All living beings use aham to denote the self. So with all these reasonings also can be supplied. Purnata eva avadhriyate. Therefore, we have to accept that the I has to be Purna because it is formless, shapeless, partless, self-effulgent, illuminating everything, and therefore has to be one. The I cannot be different. Everything else is different. But I cannot be different. If that is so, then the differences don't matter. If I is one and you are the same I, then we can afford to have differences. If there is oneness, a level of I, we can afford differences at the level of the upadhi. If I also is many, then we cannot afford any differences. Then all differences cause problems. If I is one, then it's a vibhuti. I is many, it's a problem. So that is how Vedanta explains how all problems only arise from a misconception about our own self, and therefore misconception of others. All vyavahara is based on misconception. So therefore all vyavahara is meant to divide. Then only I feel safe. So I want to confine myself to a secure space. Then I am safe, I think, Like that silkworm, wants to confine itself to secure space. And that's how we bind ourselves. Nirukta Shruti Smruti Yukti Pramanyat Ekaivatma iti Siddhantah. Shruti, Smruti and Yukti. Tika has quoted statements from Upanishads or Vedas and provided all the reasoning to explain them. So Shruti is Pramana, Smruti is Pramana, Yukti is Pramana, Ekaiva Atma iti Siddhantah. Therefore, Siddha Antah Siddhantah. The Anta is the conclusion. So conclusion that is established by this reasoning, Shruti, Yukti and Nyaya, is that Atma is one. Yataha, we are on page 52, second line. Yataha aham tvam chaime janadipascha puroktaritya bhuta bhavishyad vartamana kaleshu kvachidapi na bhavishyama iti na. Therefore, here Arjuna, I, you. In English we don't say I, you and I, but here aham, Bhagavan says. That is why it's all right. Uttam Purusha. Prathama Purusha, Uttam Purusha. Aham, Tvam, Ime Janadipa, I, you, and all these warriors or kings. Puroktaritya, by the method that we have discussed. Bhuta, Bhavishyad, Vartaman Kaleshu, Kvachidapi, Na Bhavishyama iti na. Therefore, that we always were in the past, we are there in the present, we will always be in future. Tishopi Kaleshu, Sattavanta eva smaha. We are all possessed of the existence in all the three periods of time. Tataha aham svam cha ime cha sarve vayam param brahmaiva. So we always are. Means what? To be is our nature. Sat is our nature. And Sat is Chit. Chit is Ananda. That is Brahman. Therefore, all of us are Brahman. Tataha aham Tvam cha ime cha sarve. Therefore I, you and all this, sarve vayam param brahma eva, all of us are nothing but param brahma. What is param brahma? Prapancha tat abhimanyadi sarvadrushya kalpana adhisthana bhutam. That which is substratum of the entire universe, prapancha. Tad abhinay, and the one identified with prapancha, adhisthana of both, the drishya and drak, both of them. Nishkalam, nishkriyam, shantam. So nishkalam, nishkriyam, shantam, Shvetashvatara. Anantam, nitya shuddha buddha mukta svabhava, satya jnana anandadvayam. Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Satyam, Jnanam, Anandam, Advayam. Brahma Vasmaha. You understand that we are all Brahma and nothing else. Nothing else can be proven. What you call I has to be Brahman. Bhokta, Bhojyam, Preritaram, Chamatva, Saram Proktam, Trividam, Brahmametata. Bhokta, experiencer. Bhojya, the object of experience. Preritaram, the one that creates both Bhokta and Bhojya, that is Ishvara. Matva, knowing this, Sarvam Proktam Trividam Brahma etat. All of this is the Brahma in threefold way. Brahma alone is the experiencer, experienced, and the creator of experience and experienced. Brahma Vedam Sarvam, all this indeed is Brahma. Iricha Shravanat, Tvam cha, Mam cha, Etam cha, Sarvan, Param Brahma Yadi, Janehi Tyartha. Therefore, hey Arjuna, may you know yourself, me, and all these as none other than Brahman. That is, hey Arjuna. So, this is what this Vakya is into the whole Mahavakya. From one but only thing that Shankaracharya says is Nitya iti. That it never was that I was not and you were not and then Vayam Nitya. That's why Nityatma the Atma is revealed. Here, on the other hand, you can see it's a Mahavakya and proves that what is Brahman. So he stretches imagination, in many, many ways. And
thank you so much. Wonderful.
Mahavakya is Ahamatma Brahma.
I am Atma Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. I am Atma Brahman, this Atma is Brahman. You are Brahman, everything is Brahman. Any questions?
Swamiji, like you said, the different sharira we have, the dream and the reality normally, right? So in my dream, I have my sharira, and I have my wife's sharira also comes from my memory. I see that in my dream. But then, if in my dream, if the I in my dream realizes it's not the thing, it's my reality, then dream goes off because the reality is it's just my dream. It's the same way. If Brahma, Atma is the one that's a different reality and being cast as me. The moment I realize I'm Brahma, this body should go. It's not going. It doesn't go.
Why should even dream go?
Because the moment I see that I'm not the dreamer, in the dream, I'm the dreamer, the dream is gone. Because there is no...
Dream is not gone. Only Brahma is gone. See, what goes is that I am a dreamer. That was your Brahma. So what goes is Brahma. See, knowledge removes ignorance. Ignorance has created this Brahma, meaning that delusion that I am a Jivatma or I am a dreamer. So by knowledge, ignorance goes and productive ignorance goes. There is no need that dreamer is that I am a dreamer is Brahma. That part goes. The I am need not go. You follow? In the dream also. In the dream also, if he is that I am a dreamer, that Brahma alone will go. Because that is caused by ignorance. So knowledge can remove ignorance. Otherwise, in waking state also, once you get I am Brahman, I must go. It doesn't have to, because ignorance goes, body is not the product. And the body remains until its prarabdha is there.
So, the Sakshatvam will be in the waking state. But if this is the case, in the dream state also we have the Sakshatvam.
If the samskaras are totally transformed, then you will have that. As long as the samskaras are there of identifying the body, then it may happen in the dream. But when those things go completely in the waking, then they'll go in the dream also.
Experience, like you understand, recognize the Atmatvam, the experience.
Just how do you, right now you know that you are Jiva? You know that I am so and so. How do you know? Is it experience? If you want to call experience, then I am Brahman is same level. The level of the experience, knowledge I have, I am so and so. So only so and so is replaced by Brahma. So if you want to call it experience, call it. Call it knowledge, call it realization, whatever word you want to. But we already have that. Aparoksha jnanam we have of the I am, except when part is wrong, and that gets corrected.
Swamiji, with your permission, I will say a few words. I want to mention the background for why the Shankaranandi Tika. In our classes, Swamiji has been coming every more than 10 years. We normally have a Gita Shankaranandi, like many people here who are in the class know. So this time I thought we would do something different. But why Shankarananda? There is a story behind it. Once we had to stay in the kutia where Swami Viditatmananda had stayed. You know, the Alakananda and all that, they were all old buildings. And so they were remodeling it. Then Swami Viditatmananda moved to one of those quarters. But before that, we used to stay around the 8th First Seva office, Gita Patel, Shashi Patel's. So once we were put up there, I don't know how it happened. So in the shelf, Swamiji's books were left. Swamiji wasn't there. He had gone to India. In the shelf there was a book, Shankarananda's book, Tika. So I started looking at it. It was amazing. I said, this gentleman is something saying different. So I mentioned this to, somehow I conveyed this message to Viditatmananda. So next time he returns, comes back from India, and he says, I have a present for you. What do you think the present was? A fresh new book of Shankarananda's. You keep it. So that is how I started with Shankarananda. Then around 2016, I came to know that Puja Swamiji, Viditatmananda ji is doing Shankarananda. I was so excited, but then I was so disappointed because the lectures are in Gujarat. So what can I do?
Learn Gujarati.
It's like that I have to learn Gujarati, I have to learn Telugu, I have to learn Hindi. One language is already enough. I'm not communicating in one language. Then what is the point in learning? So I was very disappointed. I said, this won't do.
It is not fair.
It's not fair. Not only this, there's another thing that he did, which was also kind of not sitting well with me. The Shankarananda Maharaj, I believe he is the author of Atma Purana. And our Swamiji was also doing Atma Purana. You know 18 Puranas are
Yes. I never heard Atma Purana. That also was in Gujarat. What is this? I was very upset. So I have been asking him, but somehow he is avoiding why Shankarananda. So this time he agreed. His excuse was, last time I asked, no, I don't have the book. Is this an excuse for him? I don't have the book. I said, I can supply the book. There are 2 copies of Shankarananda from Prasanna's bookstore. I had purchased 2 extra copies. I have books. No, I don't have the book. So this time I said, you don't need the book because you know it already. So that's how I convinced him.
You pinned him down.
I pinned him down. I'll tell you one more thing. You won't believe it, I did this. I went back to the YouTube video because all his lectures are there in YouTube. 2016, chapter 2, verse 12. I listened to it in Gujarati. You will be happy. There is only about 25 minutes coverage for this verse. Here it is almost 2 hour coverage. Actually, he was skipping a few things, so I'm not happy about that. But there, in the Gujarati, to the extent I understood Gujarati, he takes this verse. This is the style I'm saying. When somebody like him looks at a verse, it's like an architect looking at his building. So he reads the verse. Natve vaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipaha. It's like this he continues. Then he breaks it. In the first it says there are 3 sentences. I don't see 3 sentences, but he sees 3 sentences. Natve aham jatu nasam. That is one. Natvam, but the verbs are missing. So natvam na asihi. Na ime janadipaha na asan. Now the 3 sentences are clear. I said, only an architect can look at a sentence like this. Right? You just don't read and then read and this is not just pure unway. It's a little bit more. It just reveals to you how the author of this verse, Bhagavan is the author, like I say, not Vedavyasa, Bhagavan is the author. How the author visualizes the structure. And he doesn't have to fill in all the blanks. So the verbs are, 2 verbs are missing. But for him, the perfection of how it should be taught. So then he goes on further and further. So to the extent I understood, he finishes there, it's only 25 minutes lecture. He doesn't go through line by line. So I'm very happy, you should be happy that he went through most of the lines. The skipped lines, I'm not happy about it.
We need 3 sessions.
I want to say, but the substances are there. And then what he was doing also, this like Anandagiri does for Shankara Bhashya. Every line he will explain why the next line follows. So in English he was explaining why each line of Shankarananda, he was telling why this line comes. What is the reason for writing this? So there is an akanksha behind and then he remarks that. So Pujya Swamiji's approach to Shastra, and to me it's very, very appealing. The purely architectural arrangement, visualization. In other words, you don't see the sentences and the words. You visualize all of them. That's why an architect it's not just the drawing on the paper. He visualizes the building. Like this he visualizes. Then he communicates that what he visualizes. And that's just outstanding. So, we are all very blessed to have such a teacher. A teacher who not only has received it well, he has received it well. Not that I'm sure this was not taught to him during a 3-year course or any course. Nobody teaches this. That's an unfortunate thing. Nobody teaches this. But he teaches it, so he has the communication. Received well and transferring it well. So such a unique Swamiji, and so we are all very blessed to have him in the Ashramikya group here. And we are so happy that he graced this home again this time. And thanks for all of you coming. Thank you.
Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om